the next step is going to be actually configuring our contact page. And instead of just a static page with some contact information, it's nice to have some type of contact form. So there's a module that's built into Drupal you can use called the contact module, and that would work. Or there's also a module for building out your own forms called the Webform module. So I'm going to do a Google search for Drupal Webform. You can see the first result is a Drupal.org page for the Webform module. And we're going to actually have to install this on our Drupal website. So if we scroll down to the bottom, you can see a lot of people use this module. I'm going to just right-click here and copy that address. And I'm going to go to the modules page, install a new module, and paste in the install from a URL, that link that we just copied. So now we want to go to enable newly added modules. This will bring us back and we can find the Webform module in this list. If you scroll down under the Webform section, and all you simply need to do is click the checkbox for enabled and scroll down and click save, and the Webform module will become enabled on your website.
So once it's enabled, now we need to set up some configuration for it. There's quite a few different options to configure your web form, so we're going to kind of walk you through some of the most common ones, at least. So once it gets enabled, again, we're going to scroll down to the bottom and find that web form and click on the configure link next to the module. So here is the configuration page for the Webform module. Again, you're going to see a bunch of information in here, a lot of information, more than you need. Just trust us, the information we cover is really the most important information for this module. The first thing you're going to see is a default email values section. So as you can kind of read here, this is going to be setting how the email gets sent and some information within that email. So the first one is the from address. So where's the address you want the email to come from? We want it to come from our connect@codekarate.com. The from name, the subject form. And again, you're seeing right now, it says form submission from, and it's using what's called a token. So it's going to grab the node title of the web form. You can select whether it's going to be in plain text or HTML. Plain text is fine. And then format override per Webform configuration of email format is the one you'd want to select there. Clicking on that progress bar section. Again, you're going to see some information in here. The defaults, for the most part, are always going to be okay in this section. The big thing is if you had a long web form, you'd want to use this to guide them through. Think of it like a survey. For us, we're literally going to just collect a few information, very few information, so we don't need that option set. Advanced options. Most of this information we never touch, so don't even worry about touching that there. And let's click Save Configuration. Alright, so once that's added, we will now need to create a web form piece of content. So we can do that by either clicking there or clicking underneath that link right there. So we're going to click to add a web form. And again, we're going to want to call this our Contact Us. Go ahead and do that. Don't worry about any of those other settings below. Not really needed. And here we go. Now we're building our contact form. So all we're going to want to include is we're going to include three fields. A name field, an email field, and then just a body field. So these would be fields that people are going to have to select when emailing us. So the name field is literally going to be a text field. Let's make that required, so we want to be able to ensure we can call them by their name. And then once you add that, there's a bunch of different settings that you can add here. Play around with these. A lot of these are pretty self-explanatory. Again, you're setting widths of them. You can display the label above or to the side. You can add individual classes for coding. We're not going to cover any of that. We want a simple out-of-the-box contact form. So we're going to have them enter their email. And you can actually select an email validation. Want that to be required. And again, you're going to see a lot of the same information here. We're not going to change any of that. And the last one we want is just the message itself, what they would want to ask us. So that, and we're going to want to select text area. which basically just allows for multiple lines, so it's easier to read when they're typing it out. Again, same information. We went ahead and just save the component. Okay, so there now we see a name, email, and message added to our web form, which is cool. So the next thing we want to jump over to is go to the emails section under web form. And this would be, it says you're currently not sending emails. Add an email recipient below. So we want to add our connect at codekarate.com as the email that gets sent to. So we're going to go ahead and click add there. And then again, here we go, a bunch more information. So we want email header details. So this would be the header that comes across to us. It's just going to say from contact us, which is fine. The from email address, you can set that to be from us, or you can actually select component and select you want it to be the email itself. So that's going to say it's going to be from the person that's sending us their email, so which is what we would want. And then the from name, we're also going to select component name. So for example, if I'm sending an email and I enter the name Adam and I say my email is adam@codekarate, that's what it's going to say instead of saying connect or Code Karate Web Store. Email template, you can configure these if you want. The default template typically works. It's going to include all the fields you want. And then we're just going to go ahead and save this email setting. The other thing we want to look at is under the form settings page. You can provide a confirmation message to them. So let's add one and just say thanks for contacting us. And then that'll show after they submit the form. You can do a redirection there. You can redirect to the confirmation page, to a custom URL, or you can just say don't reload and just reload the current page. You can set that up as you want. You can set parameters as how much they can submit to the list. Sometimes you get spam, so you could say you maybe want to limit it to only one submission per day. So we'll set that. You can obviously set per user submissions, so that would be another way to fine-grain that detail. Let's see here. We want the status of the form to be open, so we're going to leave that as open. And then again, who can submit to this? We want anonymous and authenticated users both to be submit to this. And again, we don't need any of that, but underneath that advanced settings, there's one really important thing in here. Now this isn't important, but you want to make sure you check that available as block. And we haven't covered blocks yet, but in the next video, we're actually going to show you how to use blocks. And you trust me, you just want to have that functionality to have your web form in a block. Otherwise, it would default just to a page, which we'll explain in the next video. So go ahead and save that configuration. And then if you go to that View tab on the top, you'll see here's our contact form. And notice at the top it says /webform/contact us. So right now it's existed just as a page. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to embed that on that contact page right there.